People look at stories through different lenses. I have my own take on some of these trending issues. Hi, I'm Mariah Ramharack and welcome to In Case You Missed It. All right, hello and welcome to In Case You Missed It on SportsMax and Scene TV. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Meanwhile, LaFond.
LaFond was in the gold medal position. She's been demoted by Leas Paredes Hernandez. And here she goes with her second attempt. That's big. Tia LaFond jumps her way miles into this pit. 15.01. Wow, lifetime best, world leading mark. She's done it. She's technically very reliable. She's always good in a championship environment, and that's what you need. And this woman, Tia LaFond, today has produced the performance of her life, over 15 meters for the first time ever, just when it mattered.
Well, Dominica continues to celebrate after Tia LaFond created history for the Eastern Caribbean country, winning triple jump gold at the World Indoor Championships in Glasgow 1 week ago. Her second round leap of 15.01 meters was enough to deliver her country's first global athletics title. Tia is today's guest on In Case You Missed It. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Such an honor to be here.
Oh, such a pleasure to chat with you again, Tia. I want to tell you again, congratulations. And my first question will be, have you used the time, it's just been a week, to process what you've achieved, a global gold medal?
I'm trying to still process it. It's really weird to refer to myself as a world champion. And I'm going to say yes, but I would be lying if I didn't admit that sometimes I forget and someone refers to me as a world champion or says congrats, and it's almost like, for what? So still getting used to the title. But every time I do remember, I'm just filled with those emotions all over again. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, and with the time that has passed, are you still celebrating? What's for sure is you've received a lot of love from Dominica. So are the celebrations still on?
It definitely seems so. I thought that maybe, a week out, maybe some of the energy may have died down, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Dominicans are truly still celebrating, truly still happy. I'm still getting the messages across all social media platforms. And once again, a very heartfelt and sincere thank you. But yeah, it doesn't seem like it's dying down anytime soon, but I love it. And I'm hoping that energy and that support follows me all the way through the Olympic Games this year.
Yeah, I think it's just such a big deal and such an honor for the Dominicans. And of course, they will celebrate until Paris 2024, when they will be expecting you, of course, Tia, to dominate again. And I know they will be celebrating. So we're going to just reflect a bit, because what I want to do is, I know you did interviews previously right after the event, straight after getting gold, everybody just wanted to talk to you. But now that you got some time to really sit down, soak it in, talk to those around you, those that keep you grounded, can you walk us through the morning of that event, the competition day?
I woke up that morning and it was kind of odd because we competed very early in the morning in Scotland. So we competed at 10:18 a.m., which doesn't seem too early, but when you factor in warm up, getting up in time to get something to eat, a lot of us were up between 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning. And so because it was so early in the day, I had to change up my morning routine. I normally don't eat that much, but I had to get something in my system. It wasn't my typical pre-competition routine. And at first I was a bit apprehensive about changing some things up, but in the back of my head, I still thought about the night before and seeing Julian Alfred win that first gold for St. Lucia. And I had already decided that nothing was going to deter me from that goal. So things didn't have to be perfect for me to be successful. And that's what I kept telling myself. And so, I had to eat a bigger breakfast than I'm used to. Oh, well, we can still jump far. I got to the track and I realized, I had left some of my favorite makeup. It's okay. I don't need that to jump far. Like little things that you kind of get comfortable doing, or just routines that you get yourself in. And I just had to make sure that even though things didn't go exactly to plan in preparation wise, that didn't have to deter me from my final goal. So it was a very, unorthodox but kind of calming morning. And I'll never forget sitting down in the warm-up area before I was competing. And, little Bob Marley came on, and I was just reminded that every little thing
Yeah.
is gonna be all right. And that's the last song I listened to before I started warming up. And I was like, that's the universe speaking to me. So I
Yeah.
took the advice.
It was a sign. It definitely was a sign, because I tend to also believe in those little messages from the universe. And I think it was already letting you know that you had nothing to worry about. I'd love to know, though, Thea, when you realized that you had copped gold, do you remember what was the first thing that went through your mind, or no?
It was just, oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you, God. Oh my God. And I think if you see the video of me reacting, where I'm
Yes.
hopping up and down ridiculously, that's all I'm saying. Like I don't even I think my brain just kind of went blank, and all that was coming out of my mouth was, oh my God. And then it wasn't until I got that flag in my hand, that I realized, oh my goodness, I get to display my flag. I get to display our flag to the world. Um, and it was that moment it just kept repeating, we did it, we did it. I think that's all I said for about 10 minutes straight. And then after the first photos were taken, I turned around and I ran to Aaron and I said, we did it, and it was just this moment of immense gratitude. Just all of our hard work had just paid off. And the best part is this is just the beginning, right? But in that moment, it was just like, oh my God. And I think that there was nothing really filled too much in my head at that moment other than gratitude, because all the noise was around me. That crowd went crazy with me. And so it just kind of felt like all the energy inside was like matching the energy outside. So definitely amazing.
Yeah, must be so satisfying to know that, of course, what you worked on, you're finally achieving. So it brings me to my next question about, preparation that went into achieving this goal, because I tend to believe, and I'm a strong believer in, most times people only see the final product, like they don't know the story before, they don't understand that there are mornings sometimes there that you wake up and you don't feel like training, you don't feel like here to train. You talk to us now about your personal journey, about that preparation that went into this gold medal.
That's a really, really good question. I think that the biggest part of like the journey was just knowing that I wasn't done yet. So the work wasn't done yet, right? And so I always talk about, before this world, I went through a lot of hardships in previous world championships or Olympic games, right? It's either I fouled the big jump or I finished fourth or fifth just off the podium. Um, and I think that the hardest part is like dusting yourself off and going back into the event, coming back the next season with, a chip on your shoulder to keep you motivated, but the mentality to keep going and to push. And I think on those days where I wake up and I'm just a little bit more sore, or I really don't want to train, I kind of think of all those previous times, that I didn't get the outcome I wanted. And it's very, very difficult to allow yourself to be pessimistic or even, grumpy about the training session for that day when you haven't achieved what you set out to achieve yet. So the mentality is like, I don't think I'm allowed to complain yet. I don't think I'm allowed to grumble yet, because we're still working. And it was clear that we were inching closer to our goals. But like, I don't have a reason to really be truly tired, truly annoyed, truly, not in the mood, because like we're working towards a goal and we're not there yet. So suck it up.
And I know now this gold medal self is probably thanking that self in that moment for not giving up, because, there's a saying that when you feel to give up is when you should actually push harder, because that's when you're about to make that breakthrough. And I think, Tia, that's exactly what you did. And so many of us looking on now at this interview can, of course, learn from those moments that you went through, of course.
Well, thank you so much. And I think that's what I really hope for. truly compete in order to inspire. I think that track and field is entertainment, yes, but I want to use this platform to, kind of motivate the next upcoming generation of athletes, not only from Dominica, but from the Caribbean, or little girls and boys that look like me, my skin tone, that it's important to have representation. It's important to have positive representation. And that's what I hope to be.
Yeah. Now the approach and how you went about this jump. One jump, then the second jump, you're satisfied and you decide to wait to see the result. That caused a lot of heads to turn. It caused a lot of discussion. Talk to me about that now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's probably one of the most hit-on topics in triple jump after Worlds was over. It was, you only took 2 jumps, and so I always say that Aaron Gadsden, my lovely coach and husband, I will give it to him. He's a very smart guy, and he always looks at the data for jumps or championship history before we come into a major meet. And he always said to me, he's like, just get it done on the first jump, right? And I'm like, okay, sometimes I think I can do it, sometimes I think I can't. But this time around, I was like, let's try to get it done in the first jump. Let's save our body for outdoor season. And so I did my first jump, and it wasn't that great. I knew that it was enough to maybe keep me into top 3, maybe. But I knew it was going to get surpassed, and I still wanted to go for gold. And so we did our second jump, just as a second series. And I knew that my first jump wasn't bad. I was just really close to the board. I had chopped my step to make sure I made the board. So let me just move back a little bit and give myself some more room so I can carry my speed through my takeoff more. Boy, did that work. And so we ended up with 15:01. And I remember asking Aaron, I was like, hey, do we move back a little bit more? We go again. And he looked at me and he was like, you really want to jump again? And I was like, excuse me, we have 4 jumps left. Like, what do you mean? Do I really want to jump? And I looked at him and I could realize he was holding something back. And I go, Aaron, listen, like, if you were me, what would you do? And he goes, Thea, in the last 5 or 6 years of this event, only 3 or so women have been able to jump 15 meters indoor. And you are now one of them. So the likelihood of that happening again is very slim. Someone could jump close to that, but the likelihood of it happening data-wise is not very high. And so I said, okay. I said, I'll pass my jumps one by one. I'll keep an eye on the competition. I'll warm up if someone gets too close or I surpass, and I've got to just tap into that level of aggression and come back and fight. But I trusted his data.
Yeah.
And it served me well.
Yeah,
So,
thank God you listened.
I did. But to clear the air, I am not injured. Nothing was wrong.
Right.
I did do quite a bit of warming up, but the camera kept catching me on the bench. But yeah, everything is fine. I just followed my coach's plan and it worked out.
Yeah, always good to stick to the coach's plan. Well, Thea, this one is so important, right? Because 8 years ago, you wrote an open letter of apology to Dominica. That was when you leaped to 12.82 meters at the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, that's Brazil. I'm thinking now, then to now, you've been working at this sport for quite some time. I'd love to know about the Thea that wrote that letter back then to the woman I'm speaking to now. Just the transformation from that person who was, really sad, disheartened about how you performed, to the woman that's winning a gold medal now and is a champion.
So that Thea in Rio in 2016, that Thea was, yes, brokenhearted, but I think it was just disappointed. I truly feel like one of the worst feelings is self-disappointment, right? Knowing that you have more, knowing that you could have been better, that you have the potential to be better, but you haven't tapped into it yet. And I think that's why I issued that apology to my home country, was because I knew that in a situation where I can give my all, it would have been a night and day difference, right, than that outcome in Rio. And being here now and even thinking about those days filled with tears after I competed at the 2016 Olympics, it's like, okay, girl, we were right. We had more to give. We had so much more to give, because 1282 versus 1501 are completely different worlds. And we kept our promise to our country. We kept our promise to ourselves that we were going to do better, that we were going to find a way, some way, somehow to be successful. And we did it.
Yeah.
So the young Thea of 2016, wipe your tears, get to work because it works out.
Yeah, and it really, really did. And I'm so happy for you, genuinely happy, because I can tell, the work that went in, the disappointments that you dealt with, and now you get this medal. And I think, it's just the start of what's in store for you. This question now, is it difficult being born in Dominica and living and training in the USA? Or, of course, has it benefited you in many ways than you expected?
I think it is both beneficial and difficult. We'll start with the difficulties first, right? So the hardest part is just not being able to be on island and train as much as I'd like to. For those who don't know, Dominica does not have a track. So if I come home and I want to visit my family, my friends, my godparents even, I kind of have to plan that when I'm in off season, right? So that tends to be maybe October, November, which is always fun, but it's really nice to be able to kind of come back and just have your spirits lifted, and just be home and with lovely weather, good food, even healthier food than in the US very often. To be able to have that would be really nice. But also the opportunity to give back to the community, right? I would love to be able to train and in my off hours, work with the youth or host events or, be able to just give back in many ways. And it's kind of difficult that I can't do that. However, it is beneficial, right, that I'm in the US simply because of the resources. I'm able to have an indoor training facility. I'm able to have a, world-class massage and stretch therapist, a world-class physical trainer, personal trainer, PT. It's even easier in many cases just to fly out to the competitions that I'm in, especially since a lot of athletics is based in Europe. So it definitely has its ups and its downs. But the one thing that my heart really aches for is just to be able to spend more time with the youth athletes of Dominica. And that's the hardest part because I want to share this experience with them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I understand. And to me, it's actually a shock that Dominica does not have a track. I actually did not know that. So, of course, thanks for sharing that with us. Was it difficult transitioning from being a multi to specializing in the triple jump?
I think the most difficult part about switching from multi to triple jump was letting my ego, letting my ego go, putting that aside. So I did have a really good high jump coach, an amazing high jump coach at university. His name is Frank Costello. He had 3 girls over 6 feet, including myself. So that's high jumping over 183, which is quite impressive in the collegiate world. And he told me, he was like, I think you would be an amazing multi. However, I think you have a lot more room to grow in triple. And I'm thinking, I don't know about that. Let's try multi. I'm not crazy about it, but I'm so good at it. Let's do it. And for about 2 months, I started training as a multi. And I hated it so much, so much. And I had to come back to Frank at the end of those 2 months and be like, you know what? You were right. I was wrong. I'm ready to take your advice. And I'm ready to start training in triple. And he goes, well, you had to come to that conclusion on your own. And he respected that. I respected him for letting me figure that out. But I think once I made that change, it was just so much better. I actually truly enjoy training and getting better at triple day in and day out. The multi is amazing. And I always have full respect for the multis. Shout out to Victor Linden of Grenada, good friend. And I watched him do the deck and I'm just like, couldn't be me. And so, the toughest part was emotional and mental, but physically I love it. I really do.
Now my question to you is the big one. Everybody wants to know, are you back in training? Because we have Olympics, we have Olympic business to attend to.
I am absolutely back in training. I started back on Monday. I got 1 week off only. Even though I will say that I feel like I traded workout for interviews in that week off, but we will not complain. I'm happy to be here. But yes, we are back in training full swing, and all eyes are set on Paris 2024. We were talking about setting up our outdoor schedule, and everything, just, making sure that the mind and the body is prepared for the Olympic Games this year. So we're back.
Yeah, and a question I'm very keen to find out about is, what does a day in the life of training look like for you?
Okay, that is a good question. So I wake up, I take my vitamins, and I head to the gym. So I lift first thing in the morning, and then I try to get about 6 hours of rest between my morning weight session and my evening track session. So I'll eat lunch, I'll run some errands, maybe take an interview or two, and then I will be on the track. I'll drive about half an hour to an hour away, depending on traffic, to our indoor facility. And I will either do a sprint workout or a jump workout. If you follow me on social media, you've probably seen a lot of the jump workouts, especially if you follow Erin at Young Jumps. But it is quite interesting. There's running, there's bounding, there's a machine that forces me to jump harder and faster through accelerated training. And it's pretty intense, but it's about 2.5 hours to maybe 3 hours max in the evening. And then I eat dinner, go home, and I kind of do it all over again. So I'm on the track 4 days a week. I'm in the weight room 4 days a week. I'm cross-training 2 days a week, and I only have one full day off, which is Sunday for rest.
Yeah.
So it is packed, but it's what we got to do.
Yeah, you have to stay committed. Now, you mentioned Aaron a couple of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for my viewers who have been missing all these interviews and not aware of who he is, of course, he's your coach and also your husband. So the question would be, how is it being married to your coach?
It's a good question, and I get it quite a bit. I will say I'm very, very lucky that it works, right? I think it's really great to be able to have someone in your life that is on your team, like literally and figuratively. I will say that a lot of people are very concerned. You're like, how do you take instruction from your husband? Like, I don't know. If he said one thing and tried to, be annoying at practice, I would hold that grudge and be annoying at home, or vice versa. But I think that, we created a very good partnership even before we started dating. And I think maybe one of the reasons I ended up being attracted to him was because of how much I just genuinely thought he cared. And of course, I thought he was funny and smart too, of course. But it really does work very well. And I will say that we don't really take a lot of hardships from off the track into our home life. We have a really good process of talking and breaking down practices before we kind of get home. We always talk about how the practice was, what I thought I could do better, and of course what he thinks I could do better too. And so it works. And if it didn't work, I wouldn't have married him. But I will say that it makes sense to have kind of hesitations going into a marriage with your coach, for sure. But I think we had some really good talks and mentorship, specifically from another coach athlete marriage you might know of the Ricketts, Carrie Lee and Shanika Ricketts, in the triple jump and athletic world. And I think it for some reason it just works. It might not work for everyone else, but it works for us, and I'm grateful. So.
Yeah, and thank God it works, because of course, as I said before, it works. And the fact that you said, he's extremely smart. He's able to tell you about the numbers. He follows the stats. It's as if who else will have your back better than him, right?
Insane. It really is the perfect partnership. And I get to travel the world with my best friend. I mean, that's just the icing on the cake.
Yeah, you win. So I asked you about that relationship. Now I have to ask you about your relationship with the Dominica Olympic Association and the Dominica Athletics Association. Have they been supportive to you?
They have been so supportive to me. And I really want to say thank you to them, because there are a lot of federations and associations in the athletics realm that are nightmares, that might have corruption, that might, not put the athlete first. And it's very easy to do so, especially if you have large funds, your scholarships coming in, things can get messy. And I will say that the DOC and the DAA have made it their priority to take care of the athlete. they have stepped up in so many ways. When Billy Doctorow, the president of the Dominican Olympic Committee, first came in, he assured me that things were going to be better. They weren't always great before. It wasn't as organized. And under his leadership, it has become a well-oiled machine. It is impressive. When people find out the things that they have done for me or the ways they have supported me, they're always in awe. I get a lot of "must be nice," and my response is, "Yeah, it is nice."
Yeah.
I'm also very lucky that the head of the DAA is now Brendan Williams, who I actually knew when he was still competing in high jump. So I've known him since I was around 16 or 17 years old, and so that's almost like a big brother figure. That's the head of the DAA now.
Yeah.
So between Billy and Brendan and the entire staff, I have definitely hit the lottery in the support system of my athletic and Olympic committee. And they have my back. I mean, they were some of the first people to call me after my performance in Glasgow. I think it was Brendan and then Billy I spoke to in that order. They got a hold of me before my parents did. I mean, these people are like very invested in my success. So a major shout out to them for the help, just emotionally, financially, mentally, just being there for me. Thank you. They're amazing.
Yeah, it's really good to hear that, because in my capacity as a journalist, I speak to so many athletes that go through so many problems with their federations, and you outlined it before when you were giving your answer. So it's really good to hear that, and I hope they continue to support you, because as you go higher in your career, of course, you're going to need more support, more good people in your corner. And, you know, I just want to commend them for the work that they've done. And of course, now you've repaid them with this gold medal. So they didn't go wrong by betting on you.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that. And yeah, like I said, this medal is definitely for all of us. This medal is for my people. And
Yes.
I'm also excited to start working with the DAA and just, you know, creating some opportunities, whether it's building a runway or some shot put circles, throwing circles
Yes.
for the youth. But they're definitely interested, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. So a couple months left till Paris 2024. What's your personal focus from now till then? What are you going to do for yourself?
I am going to work on just building on everything. You know, I still want to be faster. I think that even that 15:01 jump could have been faster on the runway, bouncier, just staying healthy. Health is a major aspect in this sport. But I also want to make sure that the 15:01 is just the starting point, right? I know that I'll be competing against a world record holder. I know that, you know, a lot of the medalists are coming back and looking to defend. And I want that 15:01 to just be the starting block, the starting point of our really successful season. My list of things to accomplish this year included jumping 15 meters indoor. That was one of the first things on the list. We did that. We have other things on that list, and that one of the last points on that list is to walk home with an Olympic medal. And that focus will not be deterred. So let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Of course, we'll be cheering you on from across the Caribbean. Now, you know, Thea, many a times, and I listened to your response just now, and we always focus on physical fitness. Of course, you want to stay healthy. That's key. That's important. But many a times we forget to mention the importance of being in a good place mentally. How important is it to you that you're in a good place mentally as you are physically?
It is a major, major importance for me. I mean, I think last year, actually, I really tapped into the mental aspect of the sport. I started kind of getting too bogged down with previous performances and kind of putting my worth into my jumps, which is a really scary place to be in track and field or as an athlete in general. And so I definitely do have a sports psychologist who's been amazing, who can walk me through kind of my mental space inside and outside the competition realm, and also helps me to put things in perspective. But one of my major saving graces that's actually, you know, free is just ensuring that I have a really good support system outside of my sport, right? Like places like my best friends, family, or my siblings, my parents, that I could just go and not be the Olympic triple jumper or the world champ. I can just be Thea. And it's amazing how much, you know, just a few minutes spent with my little brother or my nieces, that stuff just, it kind of resets the mind. And I need a strong mind coming into this year because I have a feeling it's going to be a battle.
Yeah, and as we get ready to wrap this aspect of the interview, anything you want to say to the Dominicans who are so proud of you and of course they love you?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much to all of the Dominican people. I love you too. I look forward to starting some grassroots projects to bring more of the athletics to the children and youth athletes of the Caribbean and especially Dominica, of course. And thank you. Once again, it is always an honor, always a privilege to represent, and I look forward to continue to do so.
All right, so it's now time for the most exciting part of today's interview. It's rapid fire time. So I'll ask a question and you have to say the first word or phrase that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Let's do it. Yes.
Okay, favorite Dominican dish?
Baked and saltfish.
Who is your biggest inspiration?
Carissa Etienne. Dr. Carissa Etienne.
Okay, your favorite triple jumper?
Ooh, Jonathan Edwards.
Yeah. What do you love most about Dominica?
The people.
The most memorable moment in your career so far?
Indoor World Championships, Glasgow.
I could have guessed that one for you. when you're not training, what are you doing?
Eating.
Sounds like we might be related. So you have to pick one, right? Reading or watching a movie?
Reading.
What's one thing you cannot live without?
Fruit.
Okay.
I know. I eat it every day. I know. I'm obsessed.
One word that comes to mind when you hear triple jump.
Via LaFond.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's deep. All right. Last one. Your biggest pet peeve.
Chewing with your mouth open.
Ooh. I wonder if that's one of mine. Well, that was some good fun. Of course, that was some good fun. We're just going to head across now quickly to social media to see what's been happening. Let's see what's happening after that gold medal. So the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian newspaper posted this. Newly minted world indoor triple jump champion Thea LaFond dedicated her win to the people of her native Dominica. And of course, you're in this cover page, big and bold in Trinidad and Tobago, so a lot of love from the Trinis. Do we have another one? Yeah? Let's take this. Okay, so this one is from World Athletics, and this is a quote from you, Thea. I am the only athlete here from my country, so to be able to come out and get the best possible outcome and put this little island on the map is a privilege. This one is for my people. Thea LaFond is the indoor triple jump world champion. So Thea, anything you want to say to these reactions?
Oh, it's honestly just so like humbling, you know, that people are giving me this much attention, that people see the amount of passion and care that I put into this craft and how proudly I am to display my flag and to represent for my people. And I'm just so excited. It's so cool to see people text me and be like, oh my God, yeah, I was Googling about Dominica and I was learning about this and that. I'm like, perfect. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to share my culture with you. And I'm happy that's happening.
Yeah, well, Thea, congratulations again. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm wishing you all the best in Paris 2024.
Thank you so much. And thanks for having me.
All right, viewers. That's a wrap for today's show, but be sure to like, share and comment and let me know who else you'd like to see on In Case You Missed It. Goodbye for now.